Hi, I'm Chris from airwindows, and I am up to strange, evil, wicked things this time. I have a plugin that is called HighGlossDither. It was also at one point called Quadratic Residue Dither, but here's the thing. It's maybe not quite a dither exactly. I can explain why that is. Well, here's a audio file being played through 16 bits of gain reduction, then 16 bits of gain added. Now, if we turn on truncation, you can hear there's some grunge in here. In fact, I've got a gain trim here that is actually up at the very beginning. It's on the track of the audio file. And I can pull it down. If I turn it on, I can pull it down. And you can hear what truncation does. In fact, this one. That's actually fading down through the finest details of floating point format until it's literally 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is what truncation does. You can take it down to these grungy zones. If we switch it over to TPDF dither, we have this hiss, we have this noise that goes on. And then when we take it down to quiet levels, it fades into the noise. Now the thing about it though is some people, and you can hear how it goes quiet much faster. Hearing it fade away using the slow fade function. And then if we put it back to truncation, it's hanging on to it because it's pumping up this sort of information long after it should have been silent. This is what truncation can do, is sort of bring stuff up that's supposed to be long since lost in quietness. It's not accurately representing the sound at all, but it has this quality that's like a sort of insane bionic parallel compression. You can plainly hear it as I demonstrate that. We go from, say, TPDF. Fades away very nicely. And then we go to truncation. There are some people who insist upon liking truncation better than dithering, and this is one possible explanation why. It acts kind of like some kind of insane parallel compression. Here's where we get into HighGlossDither. Again, this is a thing called quadratic residue sequences, but the way it's set up is a little strange. I'll switch on the TPDF again and demonstrate how this works. This is normal dither. If I turn on HighGlossDither, it sounds like a dither, although it is centered. That's just how it rolls. But Similar behavior. See, here's the thing with HighGlossDither. It is a form of noise generation that is more uniform, slightly more uniform, than straight up noise. It's going to be a little smoother as it goes along. Like, you might think you can hear detail in there, but kinda not so much. It's repeating at a very fast rate, and it's pretty featureless. There's no lumps in it. But because of how it works and the levels it's set up at, it's designed to, rather than swoop the worthwhile audio down beneath the noise floor, it tries to swoop it down into a sort of demented parallel compression zone where it's acting kind of like what happens with truncation, but interfering with it in such a way that it's just less obnoxious. Like, it's fairly easy to switch back and demonstrate what happens with the truncation. You can hear plainly if we had it turned on, that's pretty raunchy. And it hangs on for way too long. But HighGlossDither is not like that. HighGlossDither seems like it's kind of similar, but it's bringing this parallel compressy stuff down, kind of. And yet it's still allowing it to sort of stand up and bark just a bit. And it does eventually get suppressed. But we're hearing intimations of what's going on in there for a lot longer. And then as we compare it to, say, what happens in truncation, as we'll zoom down to around the 40 dB mark, truncation is all grunge. And as you zip down to levels like this, here's a point where we have a crazy high frequency overtone going on. This is probably what some people like about truncation. It's like a bit crusher effect. It's ugly, it's nasty, it's insane. But I mean, that's some edge in there. Now when we switch over to high gloss, similar qualities emerge, but there is a somewhat quieter noise floor. I mean, it's quieter in that it's not nearly as loud as this. That's just full-on loud TPDF. But you stick this in, and we've got some of those crazy overtones. We've got some of this crazy sort of digital attitude gnarliness going on. We bury it down here. And we're hearing some of that funky stuff that was going on. Compared to this, there's nothing left of the audio there at all. We really can't hear any of it. And then if we had truncation, horrible. But if we go to the high gloss, it's a combination of the two things. It's a combination of the dither noise in a very smooth way with this nutty overtone thing jumping out and roaring. And this is going to, I mean, the reason I call it high gloss is because it's producing a strange exaggerated effect. It does some of the things that dither does. Like, it produces a kind of a noise floor and kind of helps the sounds get beneath it, but before it quite does that, it shifts and changes and warps them and brings on that crazy parallel compression thing, but in a much more controllable way. So, bottom line with HighGlossDither, which is my dither output before I get into the more high performance ones, this dither is not a high fidelity dither. It's meant to drag out some overtones and qualities that are similar to what you'd get out of truncation. People who don't like truncation, hate it, think it's appalling, and would always use a proper dither, well, TPDF is right there. Knock yourself out. But people who don't settle easily for correct answer, I don't know how to put this. If you like doing weird, ugly things with digital, this might be the dither for you, even though it's not the correct thing to use, because it balances what's given from TPDF or flat dither. In fact, I'm not sure if I can't promise that. See, here's the thing. We'll demonstrate flat dither for a moment. As you reduce flat dither to nothing, the level of flat dither fluctuates as it goes. You can hear it kind of sputter away in the background if you get the level just right. However, when we put HighGlossDither in, I think it's up for argument, really, but my feeling there, what I'm hearing, is that it is keeping the level of the dither very consistent, and as the signal goes down through zero and silence, the signal is being distorted and changed and made really weird, but the dither level is not actually fluctuating like flat dither does. So you get a result that's kind of like this. It's very strange. It's very sort of synthetic. It's bringing up stuff that you wouldn't necessarily want to bring up, but it's a very different balance from, say, the obvious horrificness of straight-up truncation, which is completely distracting. It's doing some of that bringing musical information and making it louder down at the noise level, noise floor, but in a uniquely horrible way. Then you go to high gloss, and it's behaving as if those horrible jacked up tones are at the relevant volume level they're supposed to be at. Not recommended for classical music, but this is here in case you want to do something strange. I like giving people options, even if they're options I wouldn't use, and I wouldn't be using this. It's not relevant to anything that I want to do. But I can demonstrate what it does, and it's very plain what it does. And who can say? I mean, you might like it if you want your 24-bit mixdowns and your monitoring not to sound quite human. If you want it to sound like some very synthetic electro sort of thing, this might be right up your alley. I mean, I'm not the boss of you, I can't say. But what I can say is HighGlossDither does completely unique things in its hybridization of truncation and normal dither. And I'm not going to say I hope you like it, because depending upon how you feel about natural audio and stuff, you probably don't. Maybe you don't. But if you do like it, you're welcome. Nobody else will ever make something like this and give it to you. It's technically incorrect. And that's what I like about it best of all. Support my Patreon for more insane things like this. And I'll talk to you later.